If you've been looking for a sales process you can follow, keep watching and see the 6 steps I use almost every single time. Hey everybody, I'm Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting and host of the Big Stud Sales Podcast. Having a consistent sales process could be the difference between you growing and sustaining your business and feeling lost and confused and frustrated on why you're not closing enough clients. Well, I think there's 6 steps I'm gonna cover with you today that I think are super important. These are the steps I train most of my clients on. This is for that in-home kind of B2C situation. If you're B2B, if you're selling to businesses, there's gonna be some slight variations I'm not gonna cover in this video. This is specifically for people who are selling products and services to homeowners. So the first step, the number one thing, write this down, break the ice. You've got to start that conversation. You got to initiate that engagement with that person in a way that gets them to bring their guard down. There's a lot you can do before the meeting to do this. I'm not going to talk about that on this video either. Check out that video on my YouTube channel. But once you get there, the faster you get them to just have a human conversation with you, and breaking the ice is a great way to do that. Here's how I do it. I give a compliment and I ask a question. A lot of people do this inherently. You just walk in and be like, hey, it's a great picture of your family. When was that taken? Man, your yard looks amazing. Do you do that or not? Try and ask as open-ended questions as possible, but stay away from things like politics, religion. I even try and avoid sports teams because like sometimes if you get that wrong and like it's their wife or their husband's flag outside and they hate that person, it's a negative conversation. Some people get super passionate about it, especially here in the Carolinas. You don't want to be the wrong side of that. But ask open-ended questions that get them to talk about themselves, right? Their family, their pets, themselves, what they're wearing. Those are amazing shoes. Where did you get those? Like little things like that get them talking about themselves, helps them kind of start to bring their guard down. The second step of the sales process, I like to get them seated somewhere in their home, something comfortable. The living room, the kitchen, the island is a great place to do that, where they're sitting on one side and you're standing on the other. This is where I like to do the second step, which is set the agenda. Most homeowners don't know what to expect. And if they've had 3, 4, 5 different contractors out there, they're not sure what to expect because everybody's so different. So I think it's super important to show my differentiating factors in my process by explaining what to expect in this meeting. Obviously, if you're a transactional kind of handyman, it's a little less important as opposed to like a higher end remodel or larger project company. But in general, I want the client to understand exactly what we're going to be doing today. Everybody's agenda is a little bit different, but as far as mine goes, like, hey, I just want to kind of cover with you what's going to happen today. We're going to ask some questions about your background if you've been involved with the process before. Then we're going to look at the scope. We're going to look at the project. At that point, we're going to see if it makes sense for us to work together, if you think that I'm a good fit for you based on our conversation today. And then whatever makes sense, we'll set some next steps. Make sure you get their buy-in. A basic, does that work for you? And is there anything you'd like to add? When you get their buy-in on that, they become a partner in the conversation as opposed to a transaction. So super valuable and super powerful there. The third step is to build rapport. The best way I have found to build rapport, basically get that inner human conversation going, is to ask questions about their background. In correspondence to the project. Have you been involved in a project like this before? How did it go? What did you like? What did you not like? What are you most concerned about with this project? Who all is involved in this project decision-making process? What are you basing your final decision on? Is it just price or is there some other variables that you're looking for? I like getting this information out ahead of time because it allows me to guide the sales conversation, the scope collection, based on their fears, concerns, challenges, priorities. Because ultimately, if I can do that, they're going to remember me better and remember me differently because I related to them as opposed to coming in and just giving them a generic sales pitch. So once you've built a rapport, you basically, you bridge that conversation. Hey, great, now that I have all the information, let's go look at the space, whether it's a kitchen, bathroom, addition, attic, roof, whatever it might be. Let's go look at it. As part of that scope collection, this is your ability to be the expert. Homeowners do not expect you to be an order taker. They don't want you to just write down everything they want and then try and do that. They want you to be the expert. They want you to be the professional. They want you to push back on things that they want that may not fit their priorities and budget. And they also want you to give value-added suggestions like, hey, if you're doing this, this might actually be better. Hey, if you're doing this, this would be a great add-on. You might call that upselling. In my opinion, it's helping add value to the experience so that they know their problems are going to get solved. So step 4 is soft close. Sorry, this is step 5. Step 5. I messed up. Step 5. Step 5 is the soft close. This is where you basically get their buy-in. This is where you kind of drop the hammer per se to understand like how bought in and how ready are they to do business with you. Because as any home professional knows, the proposal creation process can be time consuming. You want to know, are you putting the right effort into the right clients? So a simple question of, if I can accomplish this scope within this time frame but with this budget, are you prepared to move forward with me or us, however that might be? If you take scope, possibilities, budget, money, and time off the table, now you really get to the root of their primary objection. It might be, no, we're getting a couple other quotes. No, I'm actually leaning towards going with my brother's cousin's uncle. Kind of all those things that kind of go into why they may be objecting. Clients tend to use money and timeline as their primary because it's the easiest one and it's hard to overcome as a contractor. But if you can get to the root of their actual objection by saying, hey, if I can do all of these things, are you prepared to move forward with me? Now you know how serious they are as a buyer and how serious they are about moving forward. Don't be afraid to push back here. Don't be afraid to ask for a commitment. Don't be afraid to ask for that. Hey, but seriously, like, I'm about to put a lot of hours and effort into this proposal. I just want to see, like, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this? What do you think about me? What do you think? What can I show you? Those things that help get them bought into hiring you. And then the sixth step, the final step, which I think is missed most often, is set next steps. Meaningful next steps with a deadline. Not, hey, I'm gonna send you a proposal, let me know if you have any questions. I hear that a lot. Well, you're not driving the conversation. You're basically saying, I'm gonna volley this to you and hope to hear back from you. I've actually had contractors tell me, and if this is you, I'm sorry, but you're losing 40% of your potential clients. They'll say, well, if they wanna hire me, they'll call me back. No. Homeowners get distracted, they get confused, they lose contact information. I know a client, I don't say a client, a person that's done business with me that lost a $20,000 deal because the homeowner lost his business card. Like, that's stupid. Don't be that guy. Don't be that woman that's not calling people back and setting meaningful next steps. So one of the other challenges of follow-up is like, you're afraid you're gonna disrupt them, you're afraid you're gonna interrupt them, you're afraid you're gonna be a distraction, you may not know what to say. So when you set that next step, be like, hey, I'm gonna send you a proposal on Tuesday. Is it okay if I follow up with you on Friday at 11? They might be like, yeah, that's great. So now you know that you're gonna follow up and that they're expecting it. Well, at 11 o'clock, when you deliver on that phone call, you're differentiating yourself again by saying and committing to doing something and then following through on it, which is one of the biggest fears, complaints, issues with a lot of homeowners is that contractors are not gonna follow through. This is one of those little deposits into that relationship account saying, hey, I can tell you I'm gonna do something and I'm actually gonna follow through on it. So those are the 6 steps. Break the ice, set the agenda, build rapport, collect scope, soft close, set next steps. If you can do those 6 things consistently, I guarantee you start to win faster and win more often.
And win oftener.
Win oftener.